What's up guys, Phantom here, back with episode 21 of my F1 2019 career mode, as we are going to Sao Paulo for the Brazilian Grand Prix for round 20.
Welcome along then to Interlagos as we await the green light to get today's qualifying session underway. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on into the corners and max out down the straights?
Top speed is a key factor for this circuit. Even if you can achieve the same lap time as someone running less wing than you, chances are you'll find overtaking difficult if you have too much drag.
As we start out here in Q2, as we easily made it through Q1, as we take a wide line here to keep our momentum. So we start our flying lap, we brake at the 50-meter board there, and we try to keep as close to this curb to keep a straight exit for the Senna S's here. As we come back up the hill here, as we're going to actually come and take as shallow as line as possible so we get a good run across the line here, and we're going to be P2, but in qualifying 2 here in P10, barely making it through, but good enough to make it to Q3. As we start here in Q3, as we are going to barely make it across the line here with almost 10 seconds left to start our flying run here, we break at the 50-meter board and we actually slide here out wide, which is going to compromise us for the exit of the Senna S's. As we come across the top of the hill here, as we keep it as close to the wall as possible. As we come up to the line, we are going to be P5, as our teammate Weber actually gets P2 and out-qualifies us, and which something Grosjean never did as our teammate, as we move on to the race.
Where there's a will, well there's a way, and nowhere has that fact been better demonstrated over the years than here at Interlagos. Remember Senna winning while fighting a gearbox that was jammed in 6th? 5 Drivers' Championship deciders in a row between 2005 and 2009. And of course, the passionate Brazilian fans packing the grandstands to capacity every year. And they're not about to stop now. We're racing today then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7-mile circuit and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3. That gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Why don't we talk about Ferrari? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have a Haas, Verstappen, Devon Butler and Bottas, Perez, Giovinazzi, Norris and Kimi Raikkonen. Weber, Albon, Charles Leclerc, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Hulkenberg, Fiat, Kubica, Daniel Ricciardo and George Russell, Magnussen and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
As we sit here on the grid in P3 after Leclerc and Weber has 10 place penalties and the lights are out, and we get a pretty subpar start as Verstappen squeezes us and then outbrakes us, as we kind of get on the grass there a little bit. And we're going to go and basically chop off Bottas' nose there, as he is battling with Butler, as Bottas started in I think P5 or P6 there, as he's all the way up to 5th right now. As we enter the start of the second lap, leaving the Senna S's, as Bottas is going to get a good run at us, as we're going to make him go around the outside of him at turn 4 here, as he went in deep, but he's not going to be able to hold it, as we keep the move. They keep the place for P4. As we here on lap 3, as it's going to be the same instance again, where Bottas gets a very good run down here to turn 4, as we're going to defend the inside as this move and situation will repeat itself many times during the race as we try to keep him away from us, as Bottas here has actually gotten a good enough run off the final corner and he's starting to get close enough to us. We're going to defend the inside there, as we're going to try to keep it as tight as we can, which will compromise us a little bit here, as he'll be right on the back of us onto this back straight here, as he's catching us, and we're going to make him go around the outside, which he doesn't. He actually just stays behind us. But as we come down here to the front straight again, he's going to have a lot more momentum, and he's going to fly past our outside here, as Verstappen and Vettel have actually come together there, as Vettel has spun off, as you see here, as it looks like Vettel has locked up and Verstappen kind of hit him a little bit here, as he's gone past him, and then they collide and Vettel goes half spinning into the grass there, as Bottas got past us but has given us DRS down this back straight here, as we're going to go around the outside here, and unlike the AI, we're going to be able to keep him squeezed and go around the outside there, as he's trying to fight back a little bit, but we're going to be able to clear him coming up here towards the long right-hander, as we instantly pull to the left here and try to break his slipstream, as we're going to make him go defensive again, as he easily swerves past us again, as he locks up his left front as we go a little bit deep, but we're able to keep pretty close to the curb, which will allow us to keep a pretty good exit here, as we're even closer than we were the first time on him, and we're going to make this move even easier than the first time here, as we actually get on the grass a little bit and lock up. So, and we almost threw it away there by going wide, as again through the center S's, as he not very many times could get to us down the front straight, as he's going to make a move to the outside again, and we're just forcing him to go the long way around. He's unable to, as we're here on the front stretch, as this is one of the few times that Bottas has actually gotten to us on the front stretch here, as he flies past us again, as we try to keep close to him so we can get a good run and pass him back down this back straight, which he is unable to do to us, but we are able to do to him, as we're flying, as we're farther away than we've ever been, so we're going to force it down the inside there and be able to make the move stick. As we go into the next stop, he's not close enough to this time, but Nico Hulkenberg is out of the race, as you see as he's coming down the front stretch here, and he just blows up, and it looks like he's going to pull off there, but he decides to come back onto the track and blocks every single body. He blocked 4 or 5 cars there. As we are in the pits, as Bottas is not in the pits at the same time, so this is very crucial for us, as we want any chance for the podium, as we kind of got held up there a little bit by Albon there, as we are actually down on fuel and we don't have very much ERS left, as we pass everybody coming into the pits, but Bottas has gone out for another lap, so that could be another lap he pulls on us as we come around to the next lap, as you see in the bottom left, as he's going to easily come out ahead of us by a good 2 seconds there, as he's pulled out way ahead of us. As Lewis Hamilton has won the Brazilian Grand Prix, as we're going to come home in 4th, and with that win, Lewis Hamilton is going to secure himself the 6th driver championship of his career.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion. Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. We also crown a new champion today, as their lead at the top is now an insurmountable one. What a great year it's been for Formula One. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Well, I certainly didn't have any complaints with Kevin Magnussen's performance today. Incredible driving.
Let's move on to the constructors. Our championship leaders retain their position, but their lead is shrinking. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.